initial research suggests that a lot of the young people in Australia didn't mind giving up their phones or their social media standpoint on phones, as long as everybody else did too. And in a way, they were quite relieved that somebody, in other words, the adults, I suppose, were taking control of the situation that they see as running away with them.
Oh, 100%. And there's very good evidence on this, that there is a diversity of opinion among adolescents in regards to phones. It would be unfair to say that every adolescent doesn't want their phone, but it would be also unfair to say that every adolescent wants a phone or wants to be connected on social media. Adolescents do find social media very socially anxious. They find it an unpleasant place to be quite a lot of the time. And most of the studies done would show that there's a confliction there, but there's definitely a feeling that adolescents felt, a certain percentage of adolescents, that depends on what study you read, but that they feel almost compelled to be on social media. They compelled to do this, even though they would prefer not to be there, that they find it a scary space. And actually, most studies would show that most adolescents are aware that they spend too much time on their phones. So that's very understandable. Now, obviously, there's a very vocal group who want to be on their phones. And I think with all these legislations, what we also have to bear in mind is that there will be a transition phase. That if you ban social media for 16-year-olds now, you'll have a group, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds who've been exposed to phones, who have inculcated that into their lives. And that would be a change. However, there's a group of children coming behind them who hopefully will not have been exposed. And thus it won't be as difficult to implement that for that group.
Yeah, but I wonder if it would be difficult. I mean, I know it is different for adults, but for those of us who at various points in our lives have gone, do you know what, I'm not doing it anymore, I'm staying away from social media, the sense of relief and freedom is immense, and you would imagine young people would feel that too.
Oh, absolutely. Now, obviously, as you know, there's some people who build their identity around social media, and there's some people who it's absolutely very difficult for them to give up. But again, it's going to be very interesting to look from Australia and see what the numbers are. My feeling is that there will be a significant number, probably a majority, who will report some benefit from having put their phones away. And actually, if you look at schools where they've done this, where they've banned phones, you will find that a majority of children will say, actually, this was a good thing. I was spending too much time on my phone. You know, connecting over phone and connecting over social media, we know from neurocognitive research, is not the same as a connection in person. It isn't the same sort of relationship we develop. And that's why we have this kind of weird oxymoronic position where we have both the most connected children, but also the loneliest children, with children reporting higher levels of loneliness than elderly people.